Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Footy Banter and Insights. Today we'll be doing a roundup of the Champions League table after 6 matches. We'll be going through the teams, we'll be going through where they stand presently and where we expect them to finish, and what are the fixtures that they have to look forward to over the next month. So we have with me Varun and Rishabh. So guys, what were your thoughts on this week's Champions League game week?
Some really good results. Liverpool dominating again. Um, I actually see like three English teams in the top eight right now, right? And who would have said Man City is not one of them? So, um,
Rishabh's silence says it all.
I mean, at the beginning of the season, you wouldn't expect it at all, right? Like, it's
Right,
kind of
right.
so weird
For sure.
to not see Man City over there. And then I
Also
feel
weird to
Real,
see Aston Villa there. It's very, very weird to see
yeah.
them.
Um,
But it's Unai Emery, so the European specialist. So I think he gets the job done.
yeah, yeah. And Madrid is struggling. PSG kind of won this week, but again they are kind of down in the table. So a lot of work needs to be done by a lot of good teams. I feel. Otherwise, I don't know. Like let's see. I feel a lot of these teams are going to miss the top eight, and then they are going to play the playoffs. So it will be the playoffs are also going to become very interesting to watch.
Interesting.
Actually, yeah.
I mean, I first of all getting to City and the good team. I think this Champions League format is a little refreshing in the sense that teams like Leverkusen, Brest, Lille, Aston Villa, these type of teams are playing really well and they're getting the rewards for it. Otherwise, these guys finish first or second and then they are out of the in the round of 16. So I think this is a good opportunity for them and for the teams that are very well established like Madrid, City, PSG are on 25th, I guess. So they are if they don't play, if they don't cover up, they'll be out of the competition altogether.
Yeah.
So I think all of these big teams, City, like I said, Madrid, PSG. I think Bayern's also a part of that from that 9 to 60, 9 to 24 bracket. If these guys don't really pick up well, they don't perform well. I think it'll become very difficult for them to play to kind of qualify through those two-legged playoffs also because there are already good teams here. So it's going to be a fascinating two-legged playoffs that we'll have to see in the month of January 2025.
Yeah. So
So
couple
I'll
of
just
teams that
go
have
through.
dropped out
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the sorry, couple of teams have dropped out of the top eight. I feel are Atlanta and Monaco. Monaco lost to Arsenal, and I think Atlanta lost as well this week game week
To
To
Real
Madrid.
Madrid.
to
To
Madrid.
That
Madrid,
was
Yeah,
yeah.
that was yeah. So that is actually a very interesting game because I watched a little bit of that game and Atlanta had their chances. In fact, Madrid came back to win 3-2 at the end. So I think it was very
I mean the last minute Ritegi open goal howler, if that could have gone in, that would have been like a good deserved point.
correct.
And then Madrid would have actually been struggling now. But the moment they get the win, they are now back in the table now.
Correct.
correct.
So I'll just go through some of the matches from game week 6, the ones which we were looking at a little more closely. So Liverpool won away at Girona 1-0. This is their sixth consecutive win in the Champions League. I think it's amazing what they have done. Celtic, our dear Celtic, drew 0-0 at Zagreb. I think this is going to cost them a lot. Bayern ruled out against Donetsk 5-1. PSG got a big win against Salzburg.
3-0. Yeah.
Yeah. Aston Villa got a great win at Leipzig 3-2. Sporting struggle without Amorim continues. They lost to Club Brugge 2-1. Brest got a win against PSV 1-0. Leverkusen beat Inter, which is definitely not easy. So they did a great job. We already discussed the Madrid win at Atlanta. Lille came back to win 3-2 against Sturm Graz. That was good. They were leading 2-0, then Sturm Graz drew 2-2, and then finally they got the winner. Atletico won 3-1. Again, that was a very important result for them. Juventus beat Manchester City. I think we can discuss a bit more about this later on, but that was a big win for them. And Barcelona beat Dortmund 3-2 away from home. Again, a big win for them. And Arsenal killed it against Monaco. Monaco are actually doing pretty well in Liga, but it was quite a routine win for them. Saka and Havertz getting the goals. And Milan won 2-1 at home. So, looking at these fixtures and looking at this game week, now we can go on to team by team and we can discuss a bit more in detail. So, Varun, why don't you start off with Liverpool?
Okay, wait, I don't have it open. I think one of you guys were looking at that. So
Can I'll
then
take
one
it.
of you guys just yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I'll
Rishabh,
take
go
it.
ahead. Buddy.
So I think for Liverpool, the only thing that you can say is I think no one expected the transformation from Klopp to Slot happen so smoothly. I think it feels like there was not the coach never changed. The pattern remains the same. It's not gung ho, but it's a little more controlled. So all of these things have made them a very powerful force to reckon with. And I think the Champions League record says that for all 6 wins, only one goal conceded. I don't think, if you look at all the team stats, I think they've been very good defensively. And the last two fixtures for them in this is Lille at home and then PSV away. So I think it won't be surprising if they win all the 8 games that they have, and that'll be a good record for them in the new format. For a team to finish 8 wins out of 8 in the first year of the new format, I think Slot and the whole team deserves a good praise for them. And then the goal scorer Salah. I think it's high time that they give him the contract and the extra money for the goals that he scores. I think he deserves it more than ever now.
So, Rishabh, very interestingly, when we were doing the, let's say, the preview of the Champions League this season at the beginning,
Hmm.
we had mentioned that I don't think anyone, any team would actually go 8 wins out of 8, looking at the kind
Correct.
of fixtures they had. So it's
Correct.
really amazing. Like, I could
Yeah,
not have
yeah.
imagined any club doing 8 on 8. But yeah, Liverpool definitely has a chance to do that. And very
100%.
interestingly, like you said, right, they've conceded just one goal in the entire format.
Correct.
And it's really commendable.
And they
Looks
have like two
frightening.
easy. They have two easy fixtures left. I think they have Lille at home and PSV away. I think, and both
Yeah,
of them
so
are
I
winnable for them.
winnable, and it's scary. I think when you win eight out of eight, then you're through with the Champions League till February, mid-February, and then you just need to focus on the Premier League. I think this season, if they have to win, I think they can go for all the trophies that they have.
I may actually be tempted to kind of play my entire B or C team for the remaining 2 games because I'm already so far ahead. And eventually, like during that break, right? Like if I don't play my full strength team or even my, let's say, the top players in those 2 games, they can get a well deserved rest for the Premier League and the other competitions. So that can be one way of
I,
going about it
but I
at
think the
my point.
fixtures are a month away, so I think
Correct.
uh, a lot of all of these rotations will happen. You'll have the Carabao Cup quarterfinals, then in January the FA Cup round 3, round 4. So those sort of rounds will happen. So everyone gets a chance to rest. So and with the what happens is when you rotate, I think there's a chance of losing that momentum. I think Slot doesn't
Hmm.
want to take that risk anymore. Slots had a good start, brilliant start, not even good. I think he'd like to keep up the same work that he's putting in right now.
Interesting view. Great. And moving to the next one, which is Barcelona. Sorry, Varun, did you have any more comments on Liverpool?
No, no, no. I'm good. Yep.
Okay. So Barcelona as well got a great win and 5 wins out of 6. And again, like I think at 15 points, you can kind of think that they just need one more win
One more
for,
win.
yeah, for guaranteeing themselves a spot in the top 8, right? And Rishabh, do we have the information ready? Whom are they playing?
They
Yeah,
have
so
Benfica away, and I
yeah,
think they have Atlanta at home.
Atlanta, Atlanta home. I think 15. I think according to the permutation combination, I think you need 16 points to qualify for the top 8, and about 12 or 13 for the remaining 16 places. So I think another win would just do them well, because that just clears them up. They don't need to get down to that 9 to 24 wala bracket. But otherwise, a good win. I think for the last month or so, they did not have a great month in terms of their injuries, and in the form also wasn't there. They were drawing games, they were losing games. So it's a good win. Going to Dortmund away, not that easy a game for them. But Ferran Torres scored twice. I think they came back twice from that game. But all in all, a good win, and a special mention to Biden, Biden Gittins. I'm forgetting the Dortmund's left winger.
Gittins, yeah.
Gittins, yeah. I think he's the new Sancho that came up from City. Lovely player, fast, trickery, and could be a good addition for the England squad as well. So a special mention to that.
Rishabh, would you take Ferran Torres back at Man City now?
I would take anybody right now who could just run and score goals. I would take anybody right now. But he's not gotten that many chances at Barcelona, because Lewandowski, Rafinha, Lamal have been performing well. But whenever he's gotten the chance, he's trying to prove himself. So I think this doesn't do any. This does do a lot of good for him, and it also builds up the squad that Flick is already looking for, because he needs to sustain this for a long season. So I think Farhan getting 2 goals is a good confidence booster for Flick as well.
So, just a bit of trivia. Which team in the Champions League phase has won their last 10 games in all competitions? Any guesses?
Last 10
Across
games in all
competitions.
competition.
Yes.
We've lost all. I mean, I can say very clearly, Man City has lost all. I can say that very proudly. But I think could be Barcelona. I mean, if the trivia is
No.
based
Barcelona are on a horrible run at in the La Liga. They were
Acha, okay.
actually comfortably leading La Liga, and now they are behind Madrid if Madrid wins the game in hand.
Is it Atlanta by any chance?
No. Atlanta
Atlanta
lost
lost.
to
Atlanta
Madrid
lost.
2-3.
Acha, हाँ.
यहाँ पे only 2 teams है, Barcelona या Liverpool. I mean, it's
No.
Liverpool.
Liverpool also drew to Newcastle 3-3.
New guy, yeah, they drew. Could be one of
Think a
those
little
French
outside
teams.
the box.
Could be one of those Lille. Could be Lille.
No,
No?
not Leo.
Leverkusen also no. Dortmund no.
who
Is
has
it
won
any
the
of the
last 2
major
games?
teams?
Bayern,
Good.
Atletico,
Atletico. Yes,
Bayern,
Atletico.
Atletico Milan.
It's
Atletico
Atletico.
Madrid.
It's
Atletico Madrid are on a crazy run. They
Yeah.
won 10 games in a row and
Yeah.
across competitions, and they've just if they win their games in hand, it's actually like a 3-horse race for La Liga now.
La Liga, yeah.
And Alvarez and Griezmann has come back to life in a big way. In the last, I think 5 games, I think he scored 8 goals, if I'm not wrong.
So at the start of the season, all of us were thinking that Alvarez would be a crazy signing, right? Like, I
Correct.
think a big mistake, I think, by City to let him go. So
Correct.
Yeah.
For sure.
Feels
that's
like
how
a
the
City
good
roasting
example is.
session, but thanks for that.
City
We don't
have a
have
lot of
any-
talking points, my friend.
Yeah, a lot of.
We-
I think we'll get to the table and then we'll talk about that.
we don't have any United fan over here, no?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
only
yeah.
option is City. I mean,
And we don't have Chelsea in the competition either.
Yeah, 100%.
and Arsenal, no one expects to win. So it's like
Coming coming to Arsenal, did you happen to see the game, Varun, or did you happen to catch the highlights?
Yeah, I saw the game.
Okay.
Good game overall, but I still feel that we need to work on our forward play, right? I feel that. So I saw the game yesterday. I think we were much more fluent. I think with Jesus as a starting forward, as a striker, then for some reason Havertz as a striker. However, the problem is that Jesus is completely out of form when it comes to scoring goals. Like he yesterday had 2 one-on-one chances or 2 really, really good chances and he missed both of them. for Odegaard as well, I feel in front of the goal, he's not scoring anymore. Correct? He had a one-on-one chance yesterday, Odegaard, and he kind of didn't score from that. I think it's very important from Arsenal's point of view to get these players into that phase where the goals are not just coming from Saka and they are coming like all the like other players are contributing for the goals as well. So Jesus needs to get his shooting boots on as well, Odegaard as well. Like I remember like last year and last year, Odegaard actually scored quite a few goals, right? This year it's been a dry patch for him. Um, Actually, like since the start of the year, it's been a dry patch for him. So I mean, something needs to be worked out on that front by Arsenal because you can't just rely on Saka to score goals every game. So I think if we kind of depend over rely on Saka, we are going to kind of struggle and we are going to slip up one way or the other. So yeah, Arteta needs to sort that out. But I feel Jesus with his trickery dribbling, he's much faster than Havertz. He was having a much more impact on the game than what I felt Havertz has as a striker. And I feel for some reason Jesus was getting much more out of Martinelli on the left hand side. So I think that was a refreshing change as well, which I saw with Jesus playing as a striker. So something that Arteta needs to think about as to how he needs to approach the striker position going forward. Let's see. I think interesting times, and at least in Champions League we are doing really well. I think another win and a draw at least will kind of cement our place. And I don't think we have tough fixtures. We have Girona and I think
Zagreb.
Zagreb. Yeah, and Zagreb is at home, so I think it should be doable. I think we should be able to lock down the top eight position in the Champions League.
I think the Jesus point is a little interesting one because when he was at City, he was never that prolific scorer of goal. I think he got you about 10, 12, but
Yeah,
nothing beyond that. I think for you guys to now kind of up your level from that, title challenges to like proper winning a title, I think you all will need an out and out striker. And I think
correct.
Havertz and Jesus will not cut it out. In a good
Agreed,
30,
but my point was like given that you have only Havertz and Jesus as the option right now,
Hmm.
right? Till the transfer window opens in Jan and till the point I don't know whether they'll sign someone in Jan or not. So because Arsenal typically don't do big signings in the
Yeah,
January window.
yeah.
So I'm looking at the rest of the season. We have two options, and I'm thinking what should be Arteta's strategy going forward for the rest of the season. And from that point of view, I feel that Jesus, given what I saw yesterday, was a way more dynamic than Havertz is, and he was getting since Jesus has a bit of a tendency to drift towards the left. I feel that his interplay with Martinelli was much better, and he was getting much more out of Martinelli.
Yeah, I think he can play across that front line, right? So the
Correct.
moment
Correct.
is so sometimes he could just pop in on the right, and Saka becomes
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
striker at that for that particular move. So I think that makes sense. Yes, Havertz becomes a little more static forward, but I think
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, but I think his injury problems are also a major concern because he plays a couple of games and then he injures himself.
Correct.
So that is something that you guys have to take care. Otherwise, in the Champions League, I don't think you guys will have any problem. Those two fixtures can be kind of winnable, and then you're on 19 points, and then you're sail through to the next round.
Correct. But Rishabh, I would totally agree, like completely agree with you that Havertz and Jesus, like I've been mentioning this on our podcast since the beginning of the season that you cannot win the league or you cannot win the league
Yeah.
with like strikers like Havertz and Jesus. Like we need a proper striker in there to kind of move to the next level if we want to. So yeah,
If I may ask, who was your last out and out striker? And let's not put like I know he's been prolific, but let's not count Giroud into this, please. Let's not count Giroud into this.
why
Count
not?
no, I no. Let's get to the real game. Let's get real.
Hmm.
I
I
only
would say,
remember. I think it was Podolski that I kind of remember.
but Podolski is also not out and out
No,
striker,
no.
right?
No,
If you go
then
backwards, you've
Where
got
Then
was
Van
Van
Lacazette,
Persie,
Aubameyang, then you've got the likes of
Laka. Laka,
Yeah,
Lacazette.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I didn't like him as a striker as well. Like again, I
Those
felt
were
like
prolific नहीं थे ना. They weren't really
uh,
prolific at all. They weren't. Aubameyang scored like what 25 goals one season, and then after that his numbers started going down. And Lacazette was like a second striker, so technically he got chances very rarely. So not really prolific.
so
If
Aubameyang
you
was
go
also
back, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, go
Van
for it, go
Persie
ahead.
UV. Yeah, Van Persie was the
Yeah,
last one, last good one I can
Van
think about.
Persie, Eduardo, if you remember, he was good at
Eduardo,
one point,
yeah, but Eduardo was 2008.
2008.
Yeah,
That's a long ways. That's a
long
long
way
way.
back. Yeah.
Long way. So yeah, not an out and out strike. You these guys haven't signed. I think someone like a Victor Gyökeres could be a good signing.
I
There's a
know,
lot of
but
I,
shortages.
I would give five names. Number one, Gyökeres, but I think he may go be heading to United. Then you've got the likes of Isak. I think Isak in this Arsenal side would be
Yeah,
amazing. The way he plays,
injury
right?
technically, yeah,
injury
yeah,
is a
Yeah,
big
but
problem with him.
I know, but his gameplay would suit this Arsenal side really well.
Yeah.
Then you've got Nkunku, which I would love to not shell off to not London, but I think again he fits into this Arsenal side quite well. Proven goal scorer, scores anywhere around the box, and again gets people in the game. Then you've got Osimhen, who is still in Turkey, doing a best Drogba impression that he can. So I think
yeah.
he will be available in Jan. And one very interesting name would be Vlahovic. I think he is another one who can be really, really good for the Premier League.
Oh, yeah. Fair.
I actually, like in the at the start of the season, I think UV someone had mentioned Ivan Tony, right? Like if
Yeah,
I now look back, like he wouldn't have
correct.
been a bad option either,
Batch
right? Like he
option.
would have been,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
We were
like
discussing this at the beginning of the reviews, right? What is
yeah,
the way forward? But the thing is, now that he is in, I think Saudi Arabia, if I'm not wrong,
yeah. Now he's
coming
ruled out,
back
I think.
from there, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think it adds value now. Like I would
yeah, true.
rather possibly spend that much of money on someone like a Watkins, right? You at least
Yeah,
have
yeah,
that Premier League proven goal scoring ability anymore.
Even Watkins wouldn't be a bad shout.
yeah,
Shout.
yeah.
Like,
True, true.
I mean, even Watkins cannot be left out of this. But yeah, 5 6 strikers. I think January will be important for you guys. This January will be very important.
But we typically don't do big signings in Jan.
But for example, if Victor Osimhen gets available for about 56, 60, 70, and there's not too many clubs that have the money in January. If y'all get the chance, I think you'll have to take that. You'll have to take that money. Could be a good could
Typically,
be a good
typically,
transfer.
typically, Arsenal is associated as part of that group of clubs that don't have money. So
But yes, 100%. I'm not saying that. But if you get see, it's I think which signing happened. I think it was Liverpool when they signed Van Dijk. I think
yeah,
they were like, yeah. I mean, they wanted a centre back. They could have easily gotten him for 50 in the summer, but that extra 25 million just kind of keeps you in the game for the next 5 or 8 years. So I think that is something that you will have to look at it from that point of view.
yeah. See, for me, I would completely agree. We should go for it in the Jan window. See, given that Man City is struggling right now, the only title challengers you have right now, I feel, is Liverpool and Chelsea to some extent. And if we want to actually become serious about this kind of a thing, right, this season, even the fact that we will have a decent opportunity in Champions League, given that we will finish in top eight, if you want to win something, then I think we should go out all out in the Jan window. But knowing Arsenal and having following them for so many years, the probability is very low. The second reason I feel is we still don't have a sporting director nailed on, right, after Edu left. So in absence of a sporting director, doing a big name signing again seems a little unfeasible for me. So let's see. I hope they do something. They do sign a striker because that's the missing part in the team. But probability is low and not something as an Arsenal fan I would say anyone should kind of depend upon.
I have a sneaky feeling this is the winter where they can kind of surprise you, because I think
Let's hope.
looking at all the bases, right? Like Arteta, I think Rahul had given this comment that if Arteta doesn't win it with Arsenal this year, he doesn't see him winning with Arsenal at all. So I think given that just that one final push can be possible.
And also two things. I think if Slot wins it in the first year, I think that's massive pressure on Arteta. I think if Slot just comes in and wins it in the first year, no, next season will be a big. He'll be under massive pressure to deliver some sort of trophies. Otherwise, he'll be sacked pretty soon because I think it's been 5 years now. December
Yeah.
2019, 5 years. Yeah.
But I don't see him being sacked. I don't see Arteta being sacked at all. It's just you get a little frustrated, right? Because you've come so close against Man City, and now that Man City are not in the race at this moment in time, you would want them to push on and actually get that final.
And for Liverpool to just come back again, yeah, it feels like Arsenal is just standing still there. It feels like that.
But I have a feeling that Liverpool will drop off. I don't see this as something which is sustainable. I think this December Jan period will definitely show them some results which can easily, I think, shave off 5 to 7 points very easily. And then it
Oh,
depends on how well Arsenal can catch up.
don't give yourself and me hope. Let's not. Let's
I
not.
don't think I don't think Chelsea has any hope. I
No,
never
no, you
I
know,
think
I was just going to say,
uh,
Varun, let's not give false hopes to Varun, to UV, because
yeah, no
I think
chance.
you guys will try and win it, but it'll probably not happen.
No.
Uh,
Chelsea are not even in the top three race, to be honest. But it's okay. More
so, I,
importantly, I think this. Go for it.
so as I said, right, it'll be same as the Leicester season where everyone expected them to drop off, but that drop off never came. I think the same is going to happen with Liverpool. Uh, Everyone expects them to drop off. I don't think it will happen. I have a very sneaky feeling they'll never not drop off this season. So yeah, I think it could be like a amazing farewell to Salah and kind of Trent if they don't kind of sign for Liverpool.
I in fact feel that they may actually sign on as well in a couple of months. Maybe not all three of them, but at least two of them.
Good.
Let's
I
see.
think Trent will not, but other two will. Trent will not. If it's Madrid, Trent will not.
Let's move on to Leverkusen, shall we?
Yeah,
Again, I think a
Leverkusen.
big win this time. And whom are Leverkusen? Oh, Leverkusen got the 1-0 win against Inter.
Inter.
Yeah. And they have Atletico away, and then they have Sparta Prague at home. I think they should be able to
Atletico.
kind of qualify Sparta Prague at home. I think they should be able to win that one and then kind of
Correct.
cement their place.
I think Atletico Leverkusen game will be very interesting because Leverkusen is already in the top eight. Atletico getting into the top eight. This could be that switching of places game. Like the moment anybody wins, it's a straight swap. And both of them are in form. They're getting back to form, but both of them are in form. So could be an interesting game.
As-
Sparta wala game though they'll win easily.
Correct.
Yeah.
6-12.
Yeah.
Another very interesting observation on this table right now is Inter have also just conceded a single goal, and that was the goal they conceded to Leverkusen.
Ah.
Inter are very strong defensively. I mean, I saw the game against Arsenal that they played. They were very, very solid, like amazingly solid. So yeah, I think they have worked really well on their defense.
Whom are Inter playing in the last two games?
So Inter are they have Monaco at home, and they have Sparta Prague away.
I think that should be good enough for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So possibly, if I look at it, Leverkusen and Atletico, like Rishabh rightly said, may switch places. I think that can be one
No, but
tiny
Leverkusen,
possibility. Have a
Leverkusen also
home
has
game as well.
yeah, it's at
Sparta.
versus Sparta. So if you're assuming like 17, 18 to qualify for top 8, then Leverkusen might drop out if they lose to Atletico. But if you're considering 16, Then I
16,
think,
pe-
Then
16, 16 pe it'll happen. 16 pe it'll happen. I
yeah,
think because you look at the teams that are there on 13. So Aston Villa, Inter, Brest, Lille, Dortmund,
mm,
Bayern, they'll till reach till 18. Yeah,
okay.
but I think 16, 6. I think you'll have to count 16. I think 18 will be too much.
No, I think
Inter,
17, 17.
we are talking about the top eight direct qualification.
Yeah,
So let's assume that. So if we look from the top right now, Liverpool, Arsenal,
18.
Liverpool,
and
Liverpool,
yeah,
Barcelona, Arsenal, Leverkusen. If you're considering 16, they should win one game, then they should qualify,
hmm,
right? We
and
are
Inter should qualify.
Inter should qualify, right?
Inter will
Uh,
qualify.
Correct. So then we have already five teams nailed down at 16. If you're assuming 16, right? Aston Villa. I don't know what games do they have. Let me check.
I
I
think they
think
are playing Celtic.
no, I think
Mm,
if you look at the table also, there are about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 teams tied on 13, just going on
Correct.
goal difference,
yeah.
and and there is on goal difference also. I think they are tied, but I think if you just go up, I'll show you. So you look at Aston Villa and Inter. Aston
Correct.
Villa is just top because they've scored more. They've
Correct.
scored 9 goals to 7. So it's that tight. It comes down to goals scored and goals conceded. So I think it'll be a lot
Hmm.
of changes that might happen.
Also, but
Fair enough.
Aston Villa has like very easy fixtures left. I think they will qualify.
Which ones are there?
So they have Celtic at home, and then they have Monaco away, which is the Jan 21st fixture, and then they have Celtic at home, the final fixture.
So 16 Celtic
Should
they'll win.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
should be able to get 16 as well, right?
yeah, they should be.
Then
So
unfortunately, maybe the two French clubs may drop off, Lille and
Brest,
Brest.
Brest and Lille.
And PSG as well.
Yes.
Totally drop off than PSG.
So
एक बार इन दोनों का
Brest,
जे चेक कर लेते हैं. What is their
Brest is
fixture
away
list?
to Shakhtar,
Okay.
and then they are home to Madrid. So let's assume they lose to Madrid,
Yeah. Let's assume this is gone now.
and then they are away to Shakhtar in the next game. So it's like a must-win game for them.
Hmm.
Brest.
I don't. Yeah, I think it's one step too much.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
what about Lille?
I think someone was playing Madrid. I think it was Lille only who was playing Real and then Atletico.
no, so Lille is Liverpool away and Feyenoord at home.
Okay.
The Liverpool
So
away, we don't
away
see
to
much.
And then Feyenoord at
Feyenoord
home.
at home can be possible. They won 4-2
Yeah.
yesterday, but that can be a good fixture.
Correct. Correct.
It'll actually go down to the wire. It's like crazy combinations again, right? Like no, you can't really say ki, oh, they are definitely out.
Yeah.
Like if you win your home game, you're still around 16, and that means that one of the teams below you, which is Dortmund, Bayern, can we go down the list a little, please?
Yeah.
Atletico, Milan, they need to win both their fixtures then.
Yeah, or at
Technically.
least if you're assuming 16, then they need a draw and a win, basically. With a
Draw
better
and a
goal.
win and a high scoring, yeah.
Higher,
A
yeah,
better goal
and a better
scoring,
goal.
yeah.
But someone like
What?
Atletico, if you expect Atletico to win against the Leverkusen, and then they can win their next game as well, right? Like it kind of.
Hmm.
Yeah, that kind of makes it up. Yeah, I think Bayern will be there. That we can say that for surety. I think Bayern wins those 2 games. I think Bayern
Shall
will
we look
Yeah,
easily
at Dortmund as well? Like who are Dortmund playing?
yeah.
1 second.
Dortmund are playing Shakhtar and Bologna. So now Dortmund can also win both their fixtures.
Yeah.
They are, they are Bologna away
Correct.
and Shakhtar at home.
and Bayern is a straight shootout because it's Feyenoord. I mean, they're straight going in. It's Feyenoord away and Slovan Bratislava home.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
So the
That's
last game is pretty
two
easy for
relatively
them.
easy
So,
fixtures.
so I think
Yeah.
they'll win it. So I think they'll go through. I think they'll go to in the top 18, top 8 at least.
So Rishabh, I think there's a serious possibility that 16 may not be
16
good enough.
may not be good enough.
16
Yeah.
may not be good enough.
Yeah.
16 may not be good enough anymore.
Even
Yeah,
for that matter,
How
if I look
about
at
Milan?
Milan,
Milan and
Milan,
Atletico?
till about 14th. I think till Juventus, everybody has a chance to get into the top eight. Anything beyond that, they'll go in the second bracket. Till about
again, see,
14th.
Milan has easy fixtures. Milan is Girona at home and then Zagreb away.
But I think
Again,
Pulisic is
that's
out.
winnable.
But
Oh,
Pulisic is
he's out
out.
for a long time?
He's out for 3 months. I think he's torn up muscle in his calf.
Uh,
He's out. So that changes. Yeah.
and Atletico is Leverkusen, and who's the final game?
Sparta, I think.
Leverkusen and Red
Sparta.
Bull Salzburg. Salzburg.
Salzburg.
Which I think they should win. Red Bull Salzburg is not doing well. So,
Yeah, yeah. Both the Red Bull clubs are in the bottom eight right now.
yeah.
How about Atlanta and Juve, the two Italian clubs?
Atlanta has Trumgras and Barcelona away. So
Oh,
it's
that's a tricky one.
tricky
The
one. So
last game.
Atlanta, yeah. So a little tricky for Atlanta, I feel.
Hmm.
I think
But
it,
even if they make the second half, I think that'll be a great start for
yeah,
like it'll be a great achievement for them. I think
yeah.
considering
Yeah.
where they were, I think it's a good start.
And how
And
about Juve?
they have Club Bruges and they have Benfica.
I think again possibly winnable fixtures.
Yeah, so they go to 17 if you will
Hmm.
win. But I feel anywhere below 14, the chance of getting through is very less. Like Benfica,
Hmm.
Monaco, all of these, I don't think these guys are going through to the next. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Directly to no chance. Yeah.
yeah. So it's going to be a little difficult for these
There it
teams.
is. There it is.
We've got Madrid
Yeah.
and Man City covering Celtic. Manan will
Yep.
be a happy boy.
At least Celtic has good company around it.
Yeah. If you would have told Manan at the beginning of the season that Celtic will be between Madrid and Man City, he would have been like, wow, this is the bet he should have made. So, Rishabh, just for context, so again, when we had started the Champions League previews, so our colleague Manan, I think you had met him last time.
Correct.
So he had made the bold statement that he feels that Celtic have an outside chance of finishing in the top eight. And Varun was so flabbergasted by that statement. So he was like, I'll shave off my beard completely if that turns out to be right. And we've been teasing both of them
I
ever since.
mean, if they, they don't finish in the top eight, but I think, I think it'll be disastrous if any of Madrid or City doesn't qualify and Celtic does. But I think Celtic qualifying for the playoffs it'll be nice. It'll be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be nice for them.
So let's come to Man City. The big talking point.
Shall we finish Madrid first?
Yeah, okay, let's do
Which
Madrid first.
fixtures, which fixtures do Madrid have?
So Madrid, they have Salzburg at home and they have
Mhm.
Brest away.
I think should be winnable, yeah.
Should
I
be
don't see
winnable, but
them
then
dropping off. Yeah.
yeah, but they get to 15 and still don't qualify in the top eight. Like,
No, top eight. Top eight. I think it's a very
Long,
long shot. So I don't see that
very
happening.
long shot.
But I don't see them qualifying. Like I don't see them dropping off below 24. So I
correct.
think they have made that. So I think if you just see the Atlanta game, right,
Yeah,
you'll
big
notice
win.
there were so many times wherein Madrid could have been knocked out. So I think it's a very very big win for them.
Mbappe scoring and Bellingham scoring was the
Yeah.
main. I think those two came out. Those were the 2 points that came out from that game. I think Mbappe generally
He scored
it's
a
not
good
been
goal.
he scored a
Yeah.
good goal, but didn't again a lot of pressure on him once
Correct.
since he signed there. I think
I
that
will
was a
tell
big
you, I will tell you what will be the game of the next game week 7 in Champions League. That's going to be Man City versus PSG.
love it.
The team that loses that
Oh.
will have a lot of pressure on them.
That's
So
where is it happening, Haru?
the
PSG.
next
It's in
game,
Paris.
it's in
It's in
Paris.
Paris. It's in
Yeah,
Paris.
yeah,
Oh wow, that's amazing, crazy.
Really?
yeah.
Is it? Okay.
So
Do you want
Man
me to go ahead?
yeah, please go for it. Like Man City के fixtures कौन सा?
It's PSG away and Club Brugge home. So
Club Brugge तो should be a win, I'm sure.
yeah, I think no. I mean, I said the same for Feyenoord also, but nothing can be taken for granted anymore. Um. So I think what I think we are struggling, and I think we've gotten to a point where I think we're just letting this happen. I think we're waiting for the January transfer window to open and for a CDM to just come running in. I think that's the most appropriate word I'm going to use because there's literally nobody running in that midfield. There's absolutely no legs. You saw the last game. I saw the game last night, and um, because Juve have a very young midfield, it got to a point where those guys were playing triangles around them, and that's very unusual. We had about 70% of the possession, but we did nothing. There was only one ball from De Bruyne to Haaland that got saved.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's no cutting edge. There's nobody wanting to. Guardiola doesn't cross, and Haaland wants crosses, so that doesn't happen. It's all tiki taka every time, and so becomes difficult to a point where I have started to feel that the PSG game is now like a virtual quarter final, and it'll be a major pressure. It'll be proper pressure on Guardiola if we get out of if we don't even qualify for this playoffs. If we land up on the 25th or the 26th place, that'll be a major embarrassment. So we're just hoping that because, like you said, it's a month. It's a month away. The fixture is a month away. I think we might get some players, and we might get all of our injured players come back, and hoping that that makes a difference. But as of now, there's no confidence. We're going into this week's game in the derby with with the absolute opinion that we might just win. 2-1, 3-2. We don't even know the scoreline. There's no clean sheet this time. Um, can't Our defense can't keep a clean sheet for anything, and it's a major problem. I don't know how the team has fallen from that level to this level in a matter of couple of months. So hoping that the last two games in the Champions League work out well.
So Rishabh, one good thing from City's point of view is one, they are already 1 point ahead of PSG. They are 4 goals better off in terms of goal difference. And fortunately for both PSG as well as Man City, till 27th spot, the team which is there, Shakhtar, they are on 4 points. So I
Yeah.
don't see any of these guys even troubling, any of the above teams at all. So
So
essentially,
No, but
it's
it
yeah,
just
becomes a straight shootout, right? So if suppose PSG wins
not
against
not
necessarily, not
necessarily, not
necessarily.
even
So
Dynamo
what is
Zagreb can
PSG's?
go out. No?
Yeah, what
see
is PSG's next fixture?
City,
no
No, no,
after
no.
that.
The last one,
the last one. I think they had some easy fixture last one. It's Stuttgart.
Stuttgart. That is below
So
them technically.
so
Yeah.
technically, so it's a if Stuttgart is also a decent team. They've not had the luck, but they've got a good win last game week. So I think it's like you said, till Shakhtar it's not possible, but yeah,
So
we can't.
assuming, let's say, even if PSG loses, and if one of Zagreb or PSV don't win one out of two, then PSG still qualifies. In fact, even if Celtic loses both their
Yeah.
games, still they come up. So only I think these are the three people who PSG need to keep an eye on their fixture in the next, let's
Yeah.
say, game week.
See,
And similarly, fighting.
even for that matter, to your point, UV, even Feyenoord and Club Brugge are not spot on, kind of nailed on to
Correct,
qualify. What if they lose both their games, right?
correct.
And
Goal difference will play a role again.
Yeah, and they have like really poor goal difference as well, -1 and -2 over here. So I feel like any team uh, from 18th position onwards can slip into the bottom, and you just have two teams over here. You can actually are fighting to get into the top 24. I don't think, as you said, like these teams are not going to do anything. After 4 points, they are not going to they're already out. I think
Correct. Correct.
so. Yeah, I think Man City should qualify. Like
I think both. See, unfortunately, I think both Man City as well as PSG will qualify.
yeah, they will.
But
Yeah,
given the way I think Manan had brought this point up at the beginning, that they should kind of change the format a little bit to kind of incentivize people to finish top 16 or top 20. Like
correct.
a lot of teams will just qualify on 24th spot, and they may actually qualify for the knockouts by beating someone higher up. So I think the competitiveness kind of goes away in the first half of the entire game week.
But I think this is the first year. I think you can see a massive
Yeah,
drop off from 13 to about 4-3 in terms of points. But I think as in when as in when this competition, the format repeats itself, that the quality of football will improve. I think that's when the points, like for even a 24th point, I think you will require 12 points, or you might require a 10 points. Right now, we're just at that the first time it's there, so we don't know how this works. Right? But as and when next season or the season after that, this competition will improve itself. So I think, like you said, City and PSG both might qualify, but you can't say that with any sort of assurity. What do you guys have your take on City? And let's talk about City first, and then we'll get to
City
PSG.
qualifying for sure. City qualifying for sure.
The gameplay.
City,
I'm more concerned about the gameplay. I think qualification takes care
uh,
of it. I think the game. I think the game that they're playing is not really um, not getting any
so
results. So I think
having so having watched City a little bit, I would say that where they are losing out is multiple areas being affected by, let's say,
Rodri.
multiple positional changes. Not only
Correct.
Rodri. So Varun and I, when we were discussing the last game week and the game week before that, so we spot Nunez on the left hand side, whereas his natural position is not on the left hand side. If you look at the best winger that City have right now, that's Doku, and Doku is primed to attack players one on one, go into those areas, and then either score or cut back and do some damage around those lines. So, matlab, Doku and Savinho ideally are your primary wingers,
Primary wingers,
and
yeah.
then
Yeah.
yeah, but unfortunately to balance this team, Guardiola is trying to make certain compromises, which is not working for him right now. And
Yeah,
of course,
because
I think this, yeah,
continue. Sorry. Continue. Continue.
and of course, Rodri's being out of the team essentially means that there's no one as capable of him as kind of dictating that play from the back, right? So you've tried everyone. You've tried Kovacic, he got injured. You've tried Gundogan, he doesn't have the legs anymore. You've tried Rico Lewis, who's way too young right now to get that position right. Possibly Akanji has tried that role in a couple of games, it's not worked out. So unfortunately, I think the best case scenario for City is go in January, convince Zubimendi to come on board, because I think he is the best player in La Liga in the Rodri position right now. And if you can get him, I think that will be a game changer for City. And if you can't get him, then look at an alternative. I don't see a Premier League team selling, let's say, a Gimaresh to them at all. But maybe, just maybe, they can possibly convince someone like a Kimmich to come in, or they may convince someone maybe in Serie A to come in and do a job for a 6 month period. Because the present team, I don't think can work the way it is.
So coming back to the whole Nunes on the left wing, I think why does he play with that system is because your right and left backs are I don't know, but they are out of form. So there have been a lot of goals that are conceded from Guardiola's side, and Walker, we know he's kind of lost his pace altogether. So that is why he's playing midfielder so that they can come back. Coming back to the CDM, I think Zubimendi is one I think that we are linked with. We're linked with one. I think he's from Atlanta. I think his name is Ederson. Yeah, so I think even he's linked. Again, the amount of money that are being quoted around for the fees, it's not really worthwhile. It's about 70, 80 million. Zubimendi, if he comes on board for 60, we can still I can still live with that because Calvin Phillips money is gone down the drain, but at least you can make that money, through Zubimendi. But yeah, I think you were right. I think we need to get a CDM and convince. And again, like I said the last time, the 115 charges don't make it easy any which ways. So that is going to be one difficult issue that we face in the January transfer window.
So yeah, I was saying the problem is not just the injury to Rodri and Kovacic, but I think it's also compounded by the fact that a lot of their center backs are also injured. So I think if Stone's injured as well, Rishabh.
Stones is also injured, so he should be back by the next weekend, not this one, but next one.
Yeah, so someone like Stone is injured, and I think because if someone like Stones is there, right, he can actually kind of move from that center back position into the midfield position, and Guardiola has done that before, right? So I think a lot of key players are missing, and I feel for some reason he's not getting that combination in the defense right. Like yesterday, I feel he was playing Rico Lewis, Guardiola, and Walker, and in the back four. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think three of them were playing in the defense yesterday. And if you like see the first goal, right, it's like the striker actually made a run between Guardiola and Rico Lewis. And both of them can't defend crosses. Like I wouldn't select them as a starting as the two players to play in the back four next to each other, right? Like it's a very weird kind of a combination to have. Rico Lewis doesn't have the height. Guardiola is not technically a centre back, right? So it's the kind of combinations that he's trying, and then he keeps persisting with, for example, Walker, right? Walker is playing so terribly bad right now. It's unreal. So I think a lot of it is kind of the selection that he is making as well. Um as like of course Nunes we discussed, right? Like and then um, I don't know that I think he's playing a pivot of Bernardo and Gundogan in front of the defense. Now, do they actually provide you any kind of, as Rishabh was saying, right? Like you can easily pass through them, like in the midfield. So it's a very so if you have a midfield of say uh, KDB, Gundogan, and Bernardo, who is doing the running? Like all three of them are kind of your touch players who like the ball on their feet, and they are not the players who will do the dirty work. Bernardo a little bit, but not like as a combination of three players. It's very difficult to kind of uh, play break the opposition kind of a thing. So some he needs to figure out that kind of a combination where either he fits one of the center backs, moves them in that defensive position, or kind of try to play like a 3-4 something, three at the back and then wing backs. Like he needs to show like a little bit more dexterity right now, Guardiola. I feel like instead of just playing his normal thing, I think he's done that before as well. Right, we have seen him play with four center backs and do really well and figure out a system to play that. For some reason, he's struggling right now. I think it's a blip, but I think eventually he will figure it out how to work this. So
The four center backs were the season that he played four center backs in the defense was the treble season, and that also because Stones was injured. I think the selection it's based on the injury, so I think we are massively down to by the availability of the players. Like you said, Gundogan runs late into the box. De Bruyne is a the key man to give you that passes, and Bernardo just runs with the ball and then he'll give you that, but he will not run back. So I think in that CDM position, you don't have anybody who can just come back and just figure this out. Okay, look, if the ball is there, I'll get it for you. I'll intercept and get it for you. So again, like I said, a CDM is a must in January.
So okay, let's do something. What are your pick for the top eight? Like,
Liverpool top for sure. I think Barcelona, Arsenal, Leverkusen, Inter. I would say these guys should be
that
there.
makes it five. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Villa will be there as well, given the fixtures that they have.
the two French clubs drop out, and possibly Bayern come in because Bayern have an easier fixture list, and Milan possible.
Milan or Atletico, if Atletico happen to continue their form and win against Leverkusen.
Yeah,
Yeah. Kind of very straightforward. It seems like straightforward kind of.
I think it keeps changing. A lot can happen
Yeah,
in a month.
yeah,
I think two fixtures changes the whole table altogether. You
Yeah,
never,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
think
like just
Bayern
putting
gets
in
it.
context, right? If Atlanta would have won this time, they would have been on 14 points, and with their remaining two fixtures, I think we could have backed them to finish top eight.
yeah,
And Madrid could have been on the verge of being out because they were
yeah,
on 5 points. So
yeah.
everything is very dynamic.
True, true, true.
Both the
Yeah.
French teams drop out and both the German teams shoe in. Do you think that's a possibility?
Definitely a possibility, but I think uh, I think Milan have a very easy set of fixtures, right? And since they are on the same points as the German teams, I think they can get it. I think above them.
But you
Of
can't
course,
even
like you
ignore.
mentioned, yeah, Pulisic being out is making a difference, but Liao is still there. So I think,
But again, can't ignore Atletico.
yeah,
Yeah.
Can't ignore
a lot of combinations, a lot of combinations.
not a combination.
Varun, what's your view?
So I think all four of these teams, Dortmund, Bayern, all three of these teams, Dortmund, Bayern, and Milan, have two easy fixtures left, right? And they have those two fixtures that are winnable. I feel so. All three of them have a chance. Atletico, given the kind of form that you are saying, if they can cause an upset against Leverkusen, probably they
But
win
it's
two.
it's a month away. That's the only thing. After a
Yeah,
month, we don't know what's going to happen.
exactly. Exactly. So that's where Atletico, I feel it's a little tricky for them because Leverkusen is a very tough fixture. So, um, but yeah, Dortmund, Bayern, Milan, I think all three of them have like easy fixtures, two of them. So, yeah, I mean, then I don't know if there are those three teams are coming in. Then apart from Brest and Lille, which is the other team that is falling out of
Yeah,
these six teams, which other one team is going to fall out? Probably Villa. I don't know.
probably Villa. Yeah,
Leverkusen, if they lose to Madrid, Atletico, I don't know. Like, could happen. Mm, so yeah, or probably
we'll
Arsenal if they
see.
just fuck it up.
Again, they've conceded only two goals. So because they've conceded only two goals, I don't see them losing as such.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, interesting. Interesting. I think
Hmm.
will be good. I want to. The fixture I'm looking forward, as I said, it's PSG Man City. So I think that will be the game for the next week. Yeah,
For sure.
great.
Any
Anything
any
on the
any any money on Inter dropping out? No?
I think we have
Possibly,
linked.
because look, you never know. I mean, there could be
You never know.
possibility.
Of course. You never know. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm
So
saying. That
the
you never
other,
know with Arsenal as
yeah,
well.
correct. The other end of the spectrum for Inter is they've only scored 7 goals, right, in 6 fixtures. So
Yeah,
although they don't concede, but they
they
also
don't
don't
score.
score many.
Yeah.
So they have Sparta away and Monaco at home. Not very daunting fixtures as well, right? So
So I think, by and large, this. I think the formats are hit. I think format, as they said, I think the format is a big hit because it's given you two more rounds of good, compelling football in terms of giving that Liverpool, Madrid, City, PSG, City, Inter, those sort of fixtures that you never used to get it in the earlier rounds in the earlier format. Plus, in the playoffs, also you never know who you might get. So that's a good hit. And again, the fixture concession is another problem. But this format has become a good hit in terms of the permutation combination, and it also shows that you've got to take each and every game as seriously as you thought. In the earlier stages, you said you got 12 points and you're through for the next round. I think here you need to at least get 16, 18, depending on the table. You need to get that number of points. I think it's a big hit.
Totally. Like I really agree with that. I think in the previous fixture, maximum you used to get, like, if like for me, Arsenal is the team that I support. Like maximum I would get is like two good games in the group stages, right? In this, I can actually see Arsenal playing like really nice, like 4 or 5 good games. I can see teams playing like really good teams in the opening round itself, right? So I think the format is really good, but as UV said today and as Manan has said before, they have to kind of make sure that the team playing coming 24 doesn't qualify. Like it's like after 8 games, if you're just eliminating like 8 teams, then it's like it's like nothing, right? There's no downside to the whole thing. So I think they need to figure that part out. So yeah.
Yeah, possibly what they can do is maybe instead of having 8 teams qualifying, they can have 12 teams qualifying, the top 12, and then you have a playoff. I don't know how it will work. Like it's because the problem is they also have the entire Europa League drop off and the Conference League drop off, right? So I think that creates some issues. But okay, I'm sure they'll figure it out.
I was just going to say the same point. Like have 12 teams qualify to the straight knockout, then have the teams from 30 to 13 to 20 in a
Yeah.
playoff, because fixture congestion doesn't happen too much, and your top 20 European teams get into it. So even more, the smaller teams can also cause upsets, but again, the bigger teams will take much more heed of it. So yeah, but I don't think anyone who doesn't qualify from here go into the Europa League. They just go out. They're straight away eliminated. They don't go through
Oh,
that.
they
They
don't
don't.
go
They
to they
don't.
don't
Yeah.
do acha,
No.
okay.
No. Straight out.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Hit the subscribe button, share. Do let us know in the comments which team do you think will qualify in the top 8, and what do you think about PSG and Man City. We look forward to hearing from you guys, and we'll see you in the next stream. Bye bye.